Here's a present for you.
Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and my friends, it is indeed the holiday season. Therefore, it must be time for Tech Miss. So this year we'll have a Tech Miss for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and hey, that's this video. And we'll also have one coming very shortly along for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Now with that said, Tech Miss, what is Tech Miss? Well, it's just a little bit of a grab bag of tech. Just a bunch of little neat things about the game you may or may not know. And with that all said, let's move it right along here to our first little stocking of tech. So for our first little piece of holiday tech, let's talk about dealing with Ultra Instinct Goku, because dealing with Ultra Instinct Goku sucks. And hopefully this might make your life a little bit easier. So Goku, very annoying because he has multiple options on Wake Up, right? You know, he can do classic Dragon Punch style Wake Up here, full invincible. Or he can do his very unique, only for UI Goku, unrestrained will attack on knockdown here. And he'll just teleport, also invincible, and smack you in the noggin. And that's annoying to deal with, so we're going to show you a little bit of an option select. So first things first, the most important thing you got to do is just block. Now, Ultra Instinct Goku players being Ultra Instinct Goku players, they're probably going to try something, right? So if you block the pillar, the Dragon Punch, whatever, you block it, then you punish it, fantastic. And here's where the option select comes in. So if you block the Unrestrained Will, you actually have a lot of options to work with. So the big thing here, which is very annoying with Unrestrained Will, is it's not just the attack. If it was only the attack, it'd be very easy to deal with. He has so many things out of the attack. He can do the attack and just let it rock. He can do it and then maybe, say, go directly into a Vanish, and then if it hits the 3 combo. Or he can do it and then just immediately go into the counter super. So if you tried to punish it right away, you actually get smacked by the counter super. So it just kind of stinks, right? But we have an option select to let you beat all those options. Now, this option I'm about to show you here will work with most characters, although sadly not every single character. So what you do is simply wait and block, because they're probably going to wake up with something, and you block it, and if it's specifically the Unrestrained Will that is blocked, what you want to do is this. Just immediately dash forward S, a key blast button, and then down H. And what will happen is this. On the most regular version of this, you'll just punch him with the Key Blast, and then the down H, well, it combos from the Key Blast, and then, hey, that's all she wrote. Now, if they immediately try to go into the counter super, now if you try to punch it normally, well, hey, then you get smacked, right? But if you dash forward, Key Blast, and then hit down heavy, what will happen is this. The counter will eat the Key Blast, and when you try to go into the counter state, then that gets down heavied. So you actually manage to defeat it. So all of a sudden, that little option, that little gimmick, that little game, it's gone, it's off the table. Now, same deal here, what if they try to Vanish? What will happen is this. So the Vanish part of the move will basically just eat the input of your forward S, that guy right there. So that just won't come out, and then you hit down heavy anyways, and since it's just a regular Vanish with no particular block stun, you beat it out. So all of a sudden now you have an option that beats the regular Unrestrained Will, it beats Unrestrained Will trying to go into a counter, and it beats Unrestrained Will trying to go into a Vanish. Now, what if they're just the worst kind of UI Goku player? The one that's just going to go right for that level 3. You know, no respect for themselves, their country, or their god, right? They're just that kind of UI Goku player. Well, basically the level 3 flash will eat the forward S input, and then you still get the block, and then you get the punish. So no matter what, this option select lets you get around it pretty easily. Now, once again, not every character, and yeah, you gotta wait and block, so UI Goku can get up and just be disrespectful and wake up Dragon Rush or something, and that might happen. UI Goku players are crazy, but still, this is an option for you. Moving on here, let's try Cooler. Cooler actually has a unique setup also against UI Goku. We're kind of beating up UI Goku here, but I think that's more than fair, to be honest with you, so let's keep going. So Cooler, he can kind of get around a lot of the options without having to wait and block. So when you end any combo with the quarter circle forward medium dive kick. That guy right there, right? It causes a very specific amount of sliding knockdown frames. So if you were just to say immediately jump afterwards, just jump forward and then just hit heavy. That's simple, right? So that's a safe jump. So you don't get reversaled, anything like that. You still have time to block. It beats wake up down H's. It beats wake up vanishes. It beats up text. It beats wake up buttons. It beats everything except for delay wake ups, basically, right? They just have to block. And, you know, if they miss a reversal, well, it's a safe jump, so you have time to block. So it's just a really good setup in and of itself, right? Now, that doesn't beat Unrestrained Will and Wake Up Pillar Dragon Punch Invincible move, right? But it beats everything else. Now, here's where you beat everything else and now also beat those. So the thing about Cooler's 3H, this guy here, I know a lot of you guys know it's immune to projectiles, right? Very common thing. But it's also immune to aerial attacks, and this is where it gets really fun. And Unrestrained Will counts as an aerial attack. So now with this easy to do setup, you can beat basically everything he is going to do, minus delay wake up timings, which is a whole nother thing, but let's show you what we got first. So we're just going to do that dive kick, and it can be any combo into it or whatever, it doesn't really matter. For Cooler, it'll be easier if you use an assist to get into it, just so you know, but so we're going to do that dive kick, jump H, and if he's not there to be hit, that means he's doing some sort of invincible reversal. So he's not there to be hit, okay, so he did Unrestrained Will. So what we're going to do, as soon as we recognize there's no hit at all, we're going to immediately go into 3H. No hit, 3H. Oh, because your move is airborne, that means our 3H wins, and of course from there you do a homing dash, get a combo, all that kind of fun stuff. Now, what about the pillar? Whiff, do it. Oh, turns out if you go for pillar, that's a projectile, so therefore once again Cooler, he wins out. So against normal wake up timing, you basically shut down up text, back text, wake up DP, wake up vanish, wake up buttons, all that kind of stuff, just with the regular punch. That's great. And if that whiffs for whatever reason, immediately go into 3H. And if they did Unrestrained Will or the wake up pillar, you beat them out either way. So it works out no matter what. Now, unfortunately, it's suspected delay timing, as many setups are, right? That's just the nature of the game. But for the UI Goku player who just refuses to block and wake up everything, generally speaking, honestly, to be real, you're not going to have to worry about that too much. So with this setup here, basically, everything short of delay wake-ups, Cooler has everything UI Goku has on lockdown. For our next little tidbit, we're going to be talking about Superjump installs in block strings. Now, I've covered all sorts of aspects of Superjump installs over the years in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and this one particularly is finally starting to catch on, so if you've never learned about it, hey, well now you're gonna. So traditionally, to Superjump install a move, well, you just Superjump, right? So if I want to Superjump install an instant air dash, I can just do it. I just hit down, then up, and I'll use my air dash macro specifically here, and I'll get the float property so I can just kind of do whatever, right? Also, if I were to use the Tiger Knee technique, so hitting up forward after doing a quarter circle forward motion, so therefore I'm hitting down and up forward, thus giving me a super jump. Certain special moves, like say this, can gain the float property of a super jump, which is fantastic. But you couldn't really do that in a block string, right? Well, that's where this technique comes into play with block strings. So if I were to do that Gogeta fake Kamehameha, I can just do the regular version, that's it. I can't use the super jump float technique, right? Due to the fact it's just the regular version. However, you can preload an entire string with the super jump property just waiting for a special move. And how do we do it? Well, it's as simple as hitting down, up, and the button of your choice. So the timing for this is a little strict, I'm not gonna lie to you. What you have to do is hit down, that's the easy part, and when you hit up, you need to hit the button and up at the exact same time. And this is something that's gonna have to take a little bit of practice. But if you do it correctly, if you look at the input there, that's exactly what it looked like. And then we just go right into the string. So a string with the Kamehameha cancel by itself will look something like this. And that's all we get, right? There's no float. But if we use this technique here, right before we hit our light, we're just going to hit down, up, and then light at the same time. And then all of a sudden, we're going to get that super jump float. And hey, wouldn't you know it? And of course, during that float, You can kind of float over your head and cross up, all the kind of fun stuff. So all you have to do one more time is just down and then up and the button at the same time. Then all of a sudden the super jump is basically just waiting to go, and the first move you do that is super jump okay, in this case here with Gogeta, which will be the fake Kamehameha, then you'll get the super jump float property, and then all sorts of left-right mix-ups. You can do it all the time and just go crazy with it. And Gogeta is hardly the only character that can do this. I just picked him as an example here. I'll show you two more real quick. Cell can also do it with perfect attacks, so as a quick example. And all of a sudden, we use the EX Perfect Attack, which will normally, in the corner, switch sides. And since we had the Super Jump installed into it, then we could float over and get a little bit of a cross-up in the corner. So that's a little bit of a corner 50-50. Janemba, same deal. We'll use it with the Teleport. And there you go. So I'm not going to lie to you. Once again, timing is difficult. You will have to practice this. And to be fully honest, it's a lot easier on things that aren't pads. So if you have a mix box, a hit box, a cross up, anything that's like not a stock pad, it'll be a lot easier on you. But if you're using a pad or a normal arcade stick, it can be difficult and it will require a fair amount of timing. But hey, that's why we're here. That's why we're labbing, we're learning, right? So if you got the time to practice, this is something I highly suggest for you to try out. Now, what I'm going to show you now is the concept of the safe DHC. So what is this exactly? Well, what it is a way to do double supers, basically, and to get away scot-free. So if I just do something like this here, super, call my other super, you know, it gets blocked or whatever, negative 45, I'm going to get hit, right? Even if it's just a basic key blast, I'm going to get hit. That's not going to work out great for me. But we're going to make it just a little bit better on ourselves. So now, all of a sudden here, let's do this. So we'll do that same Beerus super, and we'll call hit. All right, so now call hit. Does this hit? Oh, only -1 on block. Funny story about that. So how did that work? Well, since Beerus' super is so long and had so many multi-hits, hit's only one single hit, right? So when hit is done up, Beerus' fireball is still going, his super fireball, right? So it effectively overwrites the block stun of what hit's super is, and then that means you're only -1. That cut and dry. So you basically got hit in for free, completely safe, at the cost of 2 bars. Now we're going to go into another more important layer of this, but basically, if you're really desperate to tag someone out, then if you have someone with a strong multi-hitting super, and you have someone with a very quick single-hit super, you can do the multi-hit super, and it'll cover up the block stun of the single-hit super, keep going, and then the person will recover very fast, and then there you go. So same deal here, Ultra Instinct Goku, right? Multi-hits, hit only -6 from this far away, completely safe. Versus if he did the super raw, right? -18 from that far away, maybe not so safe anymore, right? So the other super being so many hits covers for the single hit super. Now if it was just that, that'd be fantastic, but we got another layer. That's specifically why we got Beerus and Ultra Instinct Goku in. So for Beerus, we have our Wake Up Dragon Punch, right? Our invincible reversal, if you will. So he can do this, and then of course, you know, go into super. And if it hits, awesome, whatever. Like, forget any of this other stuff. If it hits good enough. But what if you are Beerus and your back's, you know, very literally against the wall, and you don't know what's coming. You don't know if it's going to be like an instant air dash H, or they're going to like tick grab you, or do a command grab, or some weird setup that you just don't want to deal with. So how about for the cost of 2 bars, you just get out scot-free and screw everything else. So we're going to do our reversal into our level 1, and once again, it's level 1, a lot of hits, right? And then we're going to DHC into the quick single hit super of hit. And when you know it, we're only -1. So I got the wake up reversal, and I got none of the downsides. Like, if you called me out and you blocked it, whatever, I'm still laughing, because I tagged out my character, I tagged the new character, only -1 with pushback. So let's just restart the match, because we basically reset to neutral. Now, in this specific situation against Beerus, what can you do against it? Well, if you are crouch blocking, literally nothing. You have to accept it. It's a true block stun. You can't get out of it in time. End of story. Beerus won, you lost. Like, yeah, Beerus had to spend a couple bars, but he got to reset the neutral with a new character, fresh health bar, no worries. So, haha, in your face. Now, if you stand block it specifically, you will have the chance to reflect. However, it doesn't matter too much because... like, yeah, you reflected everything, but okay, I'm still in. I'm only -3. That is not a punishable state at all. And hey, that's kind of it. But here's where the real catch is. So if you're up against someone with 3 bars, they will have the opportunity to just reversal level 3 super you in that very tiny gap. And that, well, it will beat you. In fact, if you check out an older video, it beat you so bad it actually broke the game a little bit, right? It was actually a bug. So in that situation, if they stand block, yeah, they can level 3. But if they crouch block, they can't do a single thing. They have to accept the fact that you basically got to get out of jail for free for the cost of 2 bars. So it's a strong enough technique on offense to tag people out safely, but it's even more strong thanks to the invincible reversal. And of course, once again, if it hits, enjoy your damage, basically, right? You'll get a decent little chunk of change in there. So it's just really strong. Once again here, too, Ultra Instinct Goku. His reversal is always subject to reflect. But as long as they don't have 3 bars to do a level 3, the reflect, once again, doesn't really matter that much, as there's nothing they can really do about it because you're barely negative. Now, keep in mind, the super has to be very quick, single hit. So people like Hit, people like Nappa, those kind of characters, these are the best characters to do that kind of stuff with. But that all said, hey, there you go. It's a way to safely tag people out one way or the other, offense or defense. And for our final piece of tech miss, I want to talk about Gotenks Ghost Oki, short form for Ghost Okizeme, otherwise known as the pressure you do with the delayed ghosts on their wake up. Now, if you watched the recent Dragon Ball FighterZ National Championships Japan edition, you might have noticed Goichi, hey, he didn't win, right? And Kazunoko's use of the Ghost Oki was a very big reason why he beat him, so let's talk about it. So first up here, the 2 basic ways to set this up are do whatever combo, doesn't really matter, knock him down, backdash, do it, or preferably, if you can manage it, make sure you get a super jump in there so you can float and float backwards so you get the more optimal positioning. So in that example there, we jumped up backwards, and with the combination of that and the super jump install flow back, we got a nice amount of distance backwards, so a lot of space. But either way, as long as you can create any amount of backspace and go for the ghost, you're gonna be doing pretty good. And what are the secrets of the ghost? Each of the 4 ghosts corresponds to one of your main attack buttons, light, medium, heavy, and key blast. So if we summon them by themselves, they don't do anything. Although after a set amount of time, they'll just go, because they're not going to stay around forever. But if I just do each basic attack, you'll see they'll go in sequence. So this will be light, medium, heavy, and key blast. And they'll go just by themselves. But what if I did something a little bit different? Alright. Hey, how come they're moving by themselves and I didn't hit a button? You didn't see me attack. Well, the big thing that makes this very important is negative edge. And what is negative edge? Negative edge is the concept of holding a button and then letting go. The letting go of the button also can count as an input. And for the Ghost Oki here, it's very important as it lets us send out a ghost without actually attacking the screen and just kind of messing up everything. So once we're an appropriate distance away here, I'm holding now light and key blast, and I let go of key blast, and I let go of light, and then hey, the ghosts go out by themselves, and I'm not just doing this on the screen, forcing them to come out. So the idea here is you can do all your movement stuff, which is fantastic. You're forcing them to defend against the ghosts, but you're not in a situation where you're just like whiffing buttons in the air to send them out, right? So it's super key. Now, what can you do with this setup? Well, legitimately, the only thing holding you back is your own imagination. The thing is here, the ghosts, they'll track, right? So if they try to up-tech, they'll track to the up-tech. If they try to vanish out, well, then they're going to land in the ghost anyways, so that's not so good. If they try to level 3, well, you're not committing to anything, right? You can just sit there and let them rock. So you're not committing to a dang thing, so they can level 3, you block, you get a punish, that's fantastic. So setup wise, it's just really all in the manner you want to let them go at. One common way to do it is basically wait that split second to see what they're going to do first, and then let go 3 of the 4 ghosts to cover your approach. So for the purposes of this setup here, I'll be holding light, medium, and heavy. So everything but the key blast button. So when I do it, it'll look like this. So I have these held, and when I let go, those 3 will go, but the key blast one is still available. That is the one closest to the enemy. And when I do it, I'm just going to run forward and then just let go of them just in a little bit of a stagger, right? So they don't all go all at once. And what that will be is effectively airtight. Now, the enemy could technically reflect, right? There's a lot of ways around this, but that basically enables our setup. So I release them in a little bit of a staggered motion, and then I just go for the basic. I'm run forwarding dash, and from which point I'll either land and go for my low, because Gotenks has a low, or right before landing, go for that overhead. And especially thanks to the fact that the ghosts, well, they're pretty ignorant in the explosion factor. It's basically impossible to see which one is going to be which. And of course, I have the Q-Blast Ghost just staying there on standby. If he's needed, he'll be there, and if not, we're good. So when you set this up, the opponent, you know, once again, they have all their options, and screw them because it doesn't work out so good. And they can delay wake up all they want. The ghosts can wait. So you basically just wait for the enemy. And the setup here I'm showing you is like literally the most basic possible setup here. Just going for that, you know, if it's 50-50 overhead or low, guess which. And of course, you can also empty jump and Dragon Rush. Or you get crazy and empty jump land, then immediately go for an overhead. You know, permutation upon permutation upon permutation. And whatever versions you want to add to it as well. Like you could add a Superjump float on top of that, so you get a little bit more airtime to make it even more tricky to guess which one's going to be overhead or low and all that. So the world's your oyster. It's absolutely ridiculous and always has been, just so you know. But that is the Gotenks Ghost Oki in a nutshell. You do your combo, you land a decent ways away so the ghosts aren't on top of them. Wait a split second to see what they're going to do. And if you get a hit, then awesome, right? If you get a hit, you get a combo right afterwards. So don't worry about that, right? It's fantastic. But yeah, so for the cost of 1 bar, Gotenks gets a lot more on a knockdown than just about any other character in the game. And my friends, that is this edition of TechMiss. So hopefully you learned something you didn't know before. And of course, if some of the concepts are a little bit beyond what your current knowledge of Dragon Ball FighterZ is, I'll link the Season 3 playlist at the end of this video. I cover this game a lot, so there's a lot of tech videos, so feel free to browse around. And my friends, in case I don't catch you later and I don't say it later, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I guess that's the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.